Wireless video transmitters are no longer just for those with a view of Hollywood from their terrace deck, but even for those of us who can only afford to slum it down in Hollyland, wherever that may be. So stick around if you want to find out if the Hollyland Mars 400S Pro can be useful for you, and check the playhead for chapter markers if you want to skip around. I've been wanting to check out a wireless video transmission system for a while now as an aspiring filmmaker guy. Mostly just kind of want to be a camera operator, but anyway, I haven't gotten one until now because I just couldn't really justify the cost. But full disclosure, I was actually sent this by Hollyland for the purpose of making a video, but they don't get any input in the video, nor do they get to see it before I post it. Another thing I wanted to mention off the top of the video is that these have been out for a while, and there are a lot of really great videos on YouTube, ones that go into like technical specifications and capabilities of these things, specifically in regards to latency and transmission strength, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to do those tests because, again, people have already done them, but I will put some links in the description to some videos that I've found to be really helpful and informative. What's really cool about this device is you can send the transmission to a receiver and also at the same time up to 2 tablets or smartphones. Or you can take the receiver out of the equation altogether and send it to 4 tablets or smartphones at the same time. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you want to use it. Of course, if you do want to send it to, a smartphone or other smart device, whatever you want to call it, you do need the app. Okay, so that's what it does. Now, what does it do for you? In my use case, let's start with as a YouTuber. It has the same uses as it has on bigger productions. So these are used to transmit the video feed to a remote monitor so that more people can see what the camera's seeing. Directors, producers, talent, etc. Another really great use case for these on bigger budget productions is that you can use a wireless follow focus. Those are pretty much the same use cases that you can utilize this as a YouTuber. You can really put your camera anywhere, in your studio, or if you want to go on the road somewhere, out in the wilderness, out in the park, on the streets, wherever you want to be, you can set up your camera, but it doesn't have to be physically close to you, and you can see what your camera's doing, with your phone or with a field monitor, whatever you want to do. Just allows you to frame up your shots, compose your shots, make sure you're in focus, all those kinds of things. The thing you can't do, obviously, is control the camera. Of course, a lot of cameras have companion apps that you can download and then pair to your camera, and then you actually probably have some ability to control the camera from those apps. I will say that pairing this with the transmitter is pretty seamless. Of course, you have to switch over to that Wi-Fi signal. Once you do that, you open up the app. It takes a second to open up and you're good to go. A lot of those companion apps with cameras can be a little bit finicky to get paired. And the other benefit to this is that the video quality is way better than any companion app that I've ever used, which is basically just Sony's and Panasonic's. And this actually leads me into my second use case. As a YouTuber, you might be trying to get into doing some more live streams. I'm recording this video as if it were a live stream. So I have the Blackmagic Pocket 4K and the Pocket 6K and the Panasonic GH5S. The GH5S is transmitting wirelessly to the receiver, which is obviously then hooked up into the ATEM Mini. Now, the reason I'm recording this whole video right into OBS as opposed to utilizing any of the SD cards and then switching a multicam view after the fact is I wanted to show you the quality of the video feed coming off this. So does it suffer in comparison to the 2 cameras that are going over HDMI directly into the ATEM Mini? In terms of quality of video, I have no hesitation to incorporate it into the next live stream that we do. If you do want to incorporate this wireless video feed into your live stream, there is going to be some latency added to the connection. So if you're using the ATEM Mini like I am, you also can use the software control to try to offset the cameras in order to get them to sync up. But also if you utilize the camera that's transmitting wirelessly to just showcase other things as opposed to you or whomever is talking, then you won't really have that latency issue. It won't be that apparent because you're not seeing the person's mouth. There's a lot of possibilities here, and it's really endless. The other thing too is, you could do the live stream, you could get up with this camera and walk away and take your audience on a tour of your home, your studio. You could go outside, Transmission strength is going to be an issue there, so just make sure you test it out beforehand to make sure the signal is going to hold up, you know, depending on how far you go and how many barriers are, you know, get in the way. You could do lots of different things with this for a live stream. Now I just want to get into my last use case. Admittedly, it's a little bit niche. I've been teaching video production at a local college, and I'm actually teaching a lighting course. Since I've had this, I've been bringing this into class every week, getting it set up so when we go in the studio and are creating a scene or if we're recreating a scene, I'm bringing in a small, you know, portable monitor, and I'll set that up off to the side. Prior to that, we would have, you know, students crowded around the camera so they can see the little monitor, or, you know, maybe we'd have a 5-inch field monitor on top of the camera. But it's not ideal. It's really hard for everybody to see those small monitors. So I'm trying to teach, you know, like what it is we're doing with these lights and how it's affecting things. I want them to be able to see it on screen, because that's what's important. It's one thing to see the set, but it doesn't really matter what the set looks like. It really matters what it looks like on screen. We have, you know, we can have someone on camera, but then we can have somebody as the DP or the cinematographer directing the other students how to set up the lights, how to move the lights around, and they're able to see that big monitor feed. It just makes it way easier than actually trying to look at the little camera feed. Again, I admit this is not going to be something that applies to everybody, but I could see this being useful for anybody who's teaching or doing any sort of like Zoom or conference calls where they are talking to people and utilizing a camera in order to communicate. So again, just like any other use case, you can really free yourself from the confines of your desk. So I don't want to just make this an advertisement. It's not perfect. So this is more like a prosumer level device. The latency is an issue. Talking about milliseconds here, not like full seconds of latency, but zero latency wireless video transmitters that are going to cost you thousands and thousands of dollars as opposed to around $650. Video quality is really good. I don't personally have any complaints about it. I'm sure it could be better, but again, you're going to be spending a lot more money. This only transmits in 1080p. It doesn't really matter for me because I am, again, pairing it with the ATEM Mini, which only outputs 1080p, so it's perfect for that. They do have fans. These are basically just like little metal heat sinks, and they get pretty hot. It's actually pretty hot right now. If you left your hand on here, I don't know, maybe it could burn you a little bit. They get really hot. They do have fans, so there is the possibility of getting some fan noise. If that's an issue, you can just go into the settings, go to the fan speed, and you can turn it to slow or you can turn it to off. I wouldn't recommend leaving it off for very long. I would imagine it's just gonna overheat and shut down. I'm really struggling to come up with any other cons. That's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video too crazily long. I just wanted to share with you some particular use cases that I have for wireless video transmission device and how it's come in handy for me, especially as a teacher. Obviously as a YouTuber as well. I've mostly been utilizing these in the last month just to test them out. I haven't really put them into my everyday workflow, but I'm definitely gonna be doing that, and I'm definitely gonna start live streaming more and more with them, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video about some of the live streams that I've done as more and more come down the pipeline, hopefully here in the future. I hope that was helpful or interesting in some way. Obviously, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and otherwise, hopefully I'll see you in another video. Thank you for watching.